Listen, there's nothing I can do about the fly that has decided to make my room his room, and there's also nothing I can do about the construction or my loud ass roommates. So, welcome. What is up, you guys? How are you going? Welcome back to another True Crime Sunday, and if you are new here, welcome to my channel. That intro, come on, how could you not? Anyway, we've got our coffee, we've got our notes. Today, hopefully, is the last installment of the Kenneka Jenkins case. I say hopefully because, oh, there's a fly in here. I say hopefully because I have a lot of theories and I don't know if it's going to translate into 2 videos. I try and max out my videos at 1 hour so that it isn't too long, but as we know, this case has required like 4 or 5 different videos. So let's hope that this all fits into the one last episode. Before we get into this episode, I am going to have to, unfortunately, and this is the first time I've ever had to say this, but unfortunately I'm going to have to say, cut it out. I have had to disable the comments and the likes for all of the Kenneka Jenkins case, and it has gotten to the point where the comments are about how I look, like people making out like I'm stupid because I don't believe in their theory, and I haven't even gotten to the theories video yet. Like I haven't even filmed it yet. You know, I'm just yeah, I knew from the first warning that I got on the very first episode I did on this case that, like, the person warned me saying, like, if you are going to do this case, know that people are very stuck in their theory and they are not likely to budge even if you present them with logical information. I didn't think that I would have to disable the comments for most of my videos, because when those people realize that they can't comment on my video anymore, they go on to other videos where I'm doing something like makeup, or I'm with Abby, or, you know, videos that have nothing to do with murder or true crime or anything like that, and they're leaving these huge paragraphs, and I'm like, okay, I need to put a disclaimer, not a disclaimer, but like a little message in the last video telling you guys to cut it out. I will leave the comments open on this video, hoping and praying and giving you guys the benefit of the doubt that you will leave respectful comments. The second that it turns into comments on how I look or what have you, that is when I will start disabling the comments again. Alright, so just thought I would say that before we get into it. In today's video, we are going to be talking about every single theory that I have come across on the internet. And I really wished that some of the people who were commenting, being like, no, it was this theory, how dare you like say it was anything else, would have waited until this video, because I will get to that and I'm going to debunk most of those things. And you guys, if you haven't been exposed to this case and you are thinking maybe one of the theories that I have debunked is plausible, I hope that you go and have a look at it for yourself. But for me, I have debunked most of these theories. So the first theory that we are going to be talking about is the Kenneka body double theory. People saying that the Kenneka we see in the footage over here is not the real Kenneka, and that the hotel hired a body double to pretend to be Kenneka on that night and walk through the hotel. There is one particular YouTuber who has put up a photo with one Kenneka on the left and one Kenneka on the right, saying that the Kenneka on the right is a fake Kenneka.
This is Kenneka. Believe that it was 2 Kennekas, and some people don't even believe that Kenneka even did the walkthrough. So I did the side by side for you guys to see the difference. This person over here with the long hair to her behind, this is Kenneka. Okay, the image over here to the right, this is the fake Kenneka.
Some of the people think that the hotel have like Photoshop or superimposed Kenneka into footage from a different timestamp where there's no one else in the room, and then other people claim that it is a completely different human, that it is a body double who doesn't even look like Kenneka. They say this because Kenneka looks a little bit thicker than what she does in her Facebook photos in the footage. They're saying that the weave that she was wearing is a little bit, some people say thinner, some people say thicker, some people say it's longer by like what, like an inch. And yeah, people are saying that she looks thicker. However, I have seen people's Snapchats from that night, and I have seen her and she does look the exact same way as she looks in the footage. She doesn't look like she's like stick thin, and it's definitely Kenneka in the Snapchats, and she looks exactly the same as what she does in this footage. And can we also just keep in mind that people do gain weight. They also bloat a lot during the day. My weight fluctuates. I am coming up to my menstrual cycle soon, and my lower abdomen has, I guess, not released, but has like gotten a little bit, I don't know, saggier, and gravity is taking hold. And then when my menstrual cycle is over, it sucks right back up, and I'm like, I'm a new human. Give me a swimsuit. Let's go swimming. You know what I'm saying? That really wasn't even funny. I don't know even why I said that. So I will also say that, I mean, I know this because last weekend I went and drank. I got drunk and I bloated from that as well. So alcohol can make you bloat, and it also depends on what you ate on the day. So yeah, let's talk about the photos that one YouTuber put up where she said that the right version of Kenneka was a superimposed and doctored version, whereas the left photo of Kenneka was the real one. And it's kind of funny because I'm looking at the left here and I'm like, bro, that one looks fake. Because there's harsh lines. There's harsh lines around the Kenneka footage that this YouTuber is saying is the real footage, and I'm like, it just looks like you edit it a little bit. Like they both are the same footage. It just looks like you edited the left one and you're saying that that is Kenneka, and you've just stretched her out a little bit. Or it looks like they've just photoshopped her from another frame. And so it's kind of funny because the frame, or at least the side that they're saying is the fake Kenneka, actually looks like the real Kenneka. Also, let's talk about the crime scene photos. If you haven't seen them, you don't have to see them. They are a little bit gruesome, and I don't really recommend that you go look them up. You can take my word for it, but if you really are curious, they are on Google. But just be warned, they are sensitive. So yeah, let's talk about the crime scene photos, because in the footage and in the crime scene photos, they look like the exact same Kenneka. And can we also not forget that the mother of the victim identified her and said that yes, this is Kenneka, both in person, both in the crime scene photos, and then also in the security footage. In one interview, the interviewer was like, some people say that this isn't Kenneka. Can you identify that as your daughter? And she was like, yes, that is my daughter in the security footage. And now we're going to talk about another thing that leaks into another theory, but we're just going to lightly touch on it, is that in the crime scene photos, we are seeing a hypothermic Kenneka. She is swollen, and that is what happens when you go through all of the stages of hypothermia. And so even though she does look a little bit swollen and obviously disheveled, you can still tell that it is Kenneka in those photos and in the surveillance footage when she is not completely swollen. And if anyone dares to say that the crime scene photos are not Kenneka, please know that she has a butterfly tattoo. Those are visible in the crime scene photos, as well as her belly ring. The people who do say that the crime scene photos aren't of a dead Kenneka, because another theory is that she was alive when they found her, which is impossible because she was frozen to death. But anyway, people are saying that it's not possible for her to be dead because when you die, you usually soil yourself. I know that this does happen with a lot of dead bodies, and that is where this person is coming from. However, it does not happen in every single case of someone dying, especially because Kenneka was frozen. And we're going to talk about temperatures and things like that a bit later, but just know that in the temperature that it was in the freezer, no gases can survive, or you know, not survive. Everything inside of her was frozen solid, so there would be no bodily function to relieve or soil yourself as a normal body would. And not even a normal body, because not every single dead body does that. And even if you, well, no, you wouldn't be alive at those temperatures, but we'll talk about that later. But just know that she couldn't even breathe in air. Your body can't take in air because everything is frozen. Our next theory is probably one of the saddest theories, and not for the reason that you tinfoil hat people are probably thinking I'm gonna say. I think this theory is sad because we have a grieving family and it's really disrespectful. The next theory is that her mother sacrificed her, and this is what some people use to debunk the mother saying that that is my daughter in the footage. So a lot of people say that it was the family that organized it and that it was the mother in particular who sacrificed Kenneka for like an Illuminati gain. Something that people use as evidence for this theory is actually Kenneka's funeral, because Kenneka's funeral was filmed. It was actually a really large event that had a lot of people, and it was just, I can't even imagine my funeral being anywhere close to that busy, to that big, to that broadcasted. And I'm sure, as you guys know, this whole thing went viral, and so that is also another reason why the funeral was so extravagant. But it was filmed and it was also broadcasted. So the thing that people bring up to support this theory is that the pastor who is, what is the word, I don't know, testifying, but up there and doing his, what is it, sermon? I'm not religious at all, so I'm just using words that I think are the thing. But basically, actually, you know what, I'm just gonna put the footage in here so that you understand what I'm saying.
He said she was sitting there with body rocking with pain from cancer, but the devil couldn't have her then. So then he said, Teresa, I'm sorry, I know that you're faithful, and I know that you love the Lord, but I need you to sacrifice your baby. I need you to sacrifice her, because what's about to happen is, there's about to be a shift that's about to take place. There's about to be a shift that's about to take place, and if you did not sacrifice your baby, this shift would not be able to take place. Oh my God. So I'm going to encourage you on today. Give me a little help, musician. Come on, musician, give me a little help. So I'm going to encourage you on today. Yes, she goes from the earthly body. But guess what? She's rejoicing in the Lord. She's happy, she's smiling, and she's jumping for joy. I need y'all to know, right now is your time to place this shift, to go through this shift. Because God is about to shift some things. And if you're not a part of this shift, you're about to get left behind. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Yeah.
Okay, so you've just seen the footage, so you know that if I'm using words wrong in their wrong religious context, then I'm sorry, but I'm not religious and I don't know what him walking around there with the microphone is called. I think it's called testifying. I don't know. But anyway, he's up there doing his thing, and the thing that people bring up is the fact that he says that the devil couldn't have Teresa because Teresa had breast cancer, and the day that Kenneka died was actually the day that her mother had her surgery. And so the pastor is up there and he's saying the devil couldn't take Teresa, and so they took Kenneka instead. And so everyone's like, oh, what did you just say? Like, that's proof that the mother sacrificed Kenneka so that her breast cancer would go away. And I'm like, oh my God. People have definitely taken this pastor's sermon, eulogy, out of context so heavily, and it is frustrating. Again, I'm gonna say it, I'm not religious, but I know that religious people use religion and use this kind of stuff as a way to rationalize their emotions. I mean, any sort of trauma is hard to process, and I think it's just a little bit easier for them to use God and use devils and, the devil to rationalize their emotions and to say, oh, well, the devil wanted to take Teresa and the devil couldn't have Teresa, and so they took Kenneka instead. And so they're using that as a way to process their trauma, and that is such a normal thing for religious people to do. They are blaming it on the devil. They're being religious, that's what they're doing. They're blaming it on the devil, but it doesn't literally mean that Teresa sacrificed her daughter. Other people say that it was the family because the family haven't addressed certain things. Like, remember last week when we were talking about that little bit of fluid that was in that leaked photo of Kenneka before she had her, you know, funeral makeup done? that's one of the things that people are saying, well, the family has never addressed this, the family has never addressed this, this, and this. And it's like, first of all, the family don't have to, they don't owe you anything. The only reason we have all this information is because things were leaked without the family wanting them to be, especially the photos. And, you know, when someone died, if I died, I mean, I don't know, actually, I'm pretty comfortable with everyone having things, but say I had a daughter and my daughter was a very private person and I was so upset and everyone demanded information from me, true, accurate, on-time information from me, because they wanted to make videos about my dead daughter. I would be like, excuse me, sir, no, it is none of your business and I don't owe you anything. So the family don't owe the public, the internet, true crime YouTubers, myself, they don't owe us anything. They literally do not even owe us communication. So it is actually ridiculous and so rude for people to say, well, the family haven't addressed this and so that must mean that they are in on it. And they also are saying that the family are in on it because they didn't want the photos to be released, and obviously we have them now because they were leaked by the department, and then later the photos from the funeral and the pre-funeral were leaked by a family member. But I think it's just common sense. If my daughter died, I would not want anyone to see what she looked like when she was dead. If my daughter died in the way that Kenneka died, I definitely would not want anyone to see that because her breasts were exposed, her pants were down. Obviously, they are gruesome photos, and it is logical for the family to not want those photos out there. It is dehumanizing and really disrespectful to demand to see those photos. So it's really important to know that all the information that we have right now was taken, not given. It is a privilege for us to have this information and for us to be able to comment on things like this. It's not a given. It's not something that we are owed. So it's important to be respectful. On top of that, even if the family have been very accommodating to the internet and to the public, and it's really, it's asking a lot for the family to be on time with information and on point with information and consistent with information when they are grieving. It has been a couple of years since this has happened, and I'm sure that the mother, Teresa, is still grieving, and she might not remember things as on time and as correctly and have every single detail the same way that she would have when it was happening, and people leave things out, especially when they are grieving. Another couple of comments on my videos in particular saying that it was mother was because the mother isn't crying. Now, although I have had a couple of comments about the last case that I did last week, about the Nora Corian case, in contrast to the Madeleine McCann case, but something I'm going to say in particular about Teresa Martin not crying. In the start, when all of this was happening, she was very emotional. There are pictures of her losing her shit, basically. She's crying, she is emotional. However, we have to remember that this is a black family. And being a black family and a black person in particular, and I can only partially comment on this because I'm only partially black. I am white passing, so I don't face this front on. However, it is something that I know that black people have to police their emotions because they are judged way more heavily than white people are. Black women are always stereotyped as like hyper aggressive and always angry, even when they are doing less than what a white woman is. White women are stereotyped less as angry when they bring up their like grievances or when they show emotion. But then when you see black women showing emotion or bring something up that they don't agree with, people always stereotype them as aggressive, and it is not a new thing. Like, go look this up. I'm just bringing it up. I'm just saying, like, y'all are saying, why aren't she crying? Why isn't she crying? And it's like, well, she was crying, and then people were saying she was being too aggressive. So all of those videos in the start when she was yelling and crying and losing her shit, like, that does show her feeling emotions and being human and not being the devil, you know what I'm saying? But even if she doesn't cry on every single interview, doesn't mean that she's not feeling trauma. We all process our trauma differently, but black people to a different extent because of the way Westerners and friggin' colonizers, and I say colonizers in today's day and age, I do mean that because y'all still have those connotations and it's still very real in America and Australia. So yeah, just know that black people have to police their emotions way more than white people because of those stereotypes and connotations that exist within the current conversation. And for anyone who says that I shouldn't bring race into this and that it has nothing to do with race, this entire case is a Black Lives Matter movement. It is very, very relevant in this case. I think that if it is relevant to how they treated Kenneka when she was missing, to how they treated her after she was missing, to how they treated her when they found her body, to how they've treated her now, even how the 911 dispatcher just brushed it off and just said, oh, she's probably drunk somewhere or passed out somewhere. When little white girls go missing, it is a whole different story. And even the way that people talk about victims these days and talk about their families is just so very different. And I've noticed it so much more now that I'm involved in the true crime community, and just reading forums and just seeing how people react so differently depending on the color of the victim. Another completely stupid and ridiculous part to this theory of the mother did it was that Teresa bleached her hair and cut it short. There are literal videos out there questioning why she cut her hair short and she bleached it. One YouTuber said that this was code for the deed is done. They pointed out all these other celebrities who have done the same thing to their hair, and they all happen to be African American people after they've done something, or people think that they've done something, and they said it was literal code for the deed is done. Another YouTuber made a video saying that because when you remember on that 911 phone call when Teresa was like, oh, there's a parking ticket in my car from the 6th, keep in mind that Kenneka died on the 9th. This YouTuber is saying that because there was a parking ticket in her car and she mentioned it on the 911 call, that means that Kenneka actually died on the 6th, which is the devil's number, and that means that Teresa sacrificed her daughter to the devil. I really, really did not want to include all of these satanic theories out there on the Kenneka Jenkins case, but there are so many. There are so many serious YouTube videos out there with big YouTubers actually saying that these theories are plausible, and there are hundreds of thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of comments of people agreeing with it, and I'm like, bro. So I do have to share some of this wildness, but I hope you get some sort of entertainment out of this next section. And I do want to just say that I do believe in aliens, and I do believe in some crazy stuff, but I don't believe in this. Oh yeah, and also while I'm here, I will mention that a lot of these are rooted in religion, and that a lot of these people who believe this are heavily religious, and I think maybe that's why I don't really, I don't know, I think when you are religious, you already have a sense of, I guess it's like easier for religious people to believe in these sorts of conspiracies, whereas I'm completely like, that's debunkable. One man said that when Teresa Martin went on the Dr. Oz show, when she sat on the couch and they shook hands, he said that it was an Illuminati handshake and that this was irrefutable proof that Teresa Martin is working with the devil.
So for those that don't believe me or refuse to accept the fact that the mother sold her daughter out, look at the grip that Dr. Oz gives the mother. And for all my fellow traveling men and brothers, y'all know what this grip means. You see the silly ass look the mother gives? Oh shit. You see the silly ass look the mother is giving? Like, yes, bitch, you did that to your own kid for money and fame. So hopefully this puts this situation to bed once and for all. If you don't believe it, there's a proof right there in your face. Read and weep.
The next theory is one that I surprisingly heard before I heard about the Kenneka Jenkins case, but I didn't know who Kenneka Jenkins was. However, I do know who Selena Gomez is. This next theory is that Kenneka Jenkins had to die for Selena Gomez to get one of her organs. And I'm not even kidding, this is a serious theory. People genuinely believe that Selena Gomez, because remember when she had that little thing where she needed an organ, people are saying, oh, Selena Gomez needed an organ, and this is heavily like close to when Kenneka Jenkins died. And so they have gotten out Selena Gomez film clips where she's like in a freezer, and they're saying this is why it's connected to the Kenneka Jenkins case, because Kenneka Jenkins died in a freezer. I can debunk this already. None of Kenneka Jenkins's organs were taken when she died. Yeah, I know what you're saying. She was missing an organ, but that was not taken when she died. She was missing a part of her nervous system that it fights off sickness, and you need it when you're a child, but you don't need it when you're an adult. And it has nothing to do with her death. It did not lead to her death. It wasn't taken before she died, as in like immediately before she died, and it wasn't taken after she was dead. So no, Selena Gomez did not take Kenneka Jenkins's organs.
Gotta know the code to be able to look and find the answers. And the code is the alphabet and the calendar, the language of gematria. So check this out. Selena Gomez, she turned 25 this July 22nd, right? And from her birthday to the day this young woman was found in the freezer in Chicago, 50 days later. Also 1 month and 19 days. Remember this 119? But first the 50. Remember, the word America in gematria equals 50. 50 states and 1 million territories. In the language, Selena Gomez also equals 50. And there's this rumor here about a kidney transplant. 229, that's the 50th prime number. Prime numbers are those that can only be divided by themselves in 1. So only 229 or 1 divides into 229. It's the 50th prime. 229, 50. They got a relationship. 50 days after her birthday, this young woman found dead in the freezer. Of course, you got to keep kidneys on ice. You watch this music video, shows her in a freezer. You know, what's she doing in a freezer? Here she is in a freezer. She's falling down the wall in the freezer. Why is she in a freezer in a music video?
The next theory is quite possibly one of the most popular theories, and it is also quite possibly one of the most dangerous theories for the people involved. This next theory is that her friends did it. There are millions of people out there who genuinely believe that Kenneka Jenkins's friends from that night, and also people from who were at different hotels that night, that they planned for Kenneka to get raped and murdered. Now remember our girl IRENE, the lady that had the mirrored glasses in that video that we dissected in last week's video, or maybe even part 2. IRENE has, unfortunately for her, been given a lot of heat in this case, as well as Munifa, and I think maybe even Myra. Not so much Bree because she was gone for a little bit of the night, but I have heard a lot of theories about IRENE in particular. Now remember that video. Remember when we dissected it, or at least I dissected it and I showed you stills. You can't really see anything in her mirrored glasses, but people have been like going through this video like crazy and saying like, oh my god, did you hear that? You can hear someone say we're gonna murder and rape her, and it's like, bro, I cannot hear none of that. Some people even claim that you can hear Kenneka in the background of that live video fighting someone off. I have excruciatingly gone frame by frame of that video, literally trying to find something, because bro, I love a good conspiracy. I wanted some sort of conspiracy from this video. I didn't get it because there's nothing there, and you can't just want a conspiracy and then it happens. There has to be a real one there, and there is not a real one. I did not hear anyone saying they were going to rape anyone. I didn't hear anyone saying they were going to murder anyone. I didn't hear anyone fighting anyone off. I didn't see anyone doing anything to anyone in her mirrored sunglasses. And if you don't believe me and you haven't seen this one, in the description box below, I will be putting a whole bunch of links to the different videos. Another thing that I will say is one of Kenneka's friends actually works at the Crowne Plaza for their security team. She is, she's pretty and she seems to know it. However, none of her vanity or anything like that seems to show that she is a murderous person. I don't know, apparently people think that she is part of the conspiracy. I have literally not seen any form of, you know, evidence that is not a fake screenshot, because there are screenshots out there of her friends supposedly admitting to murdering Kenneka and raping Kenneka, and I'm gonna say I have seen every single one of these screenshots and they are fake. They are not real, and it is so easy to make fake screenshots of like Facebook posts and Instagram DMs and all that kind of stuff. Also, if I murdered someone or I raped someone or I even was a part of a murder and a rape, I would not make a post on Facebook saying that I did it. I'm not being rude or mean. I'm just saying, like, if you believe those screenshots are real, in the nicest way possible, they're not real. Now, let's talk about the friends who were there that night, because a lot of people are saying, like, where were her friends? Why would you leave her in the hallway? Like, so irresponsible. That definitely means that her friends had done it. A lot of people who are saying this seem to have only been looking at the footage of Kenneka. Remember, this hotel has security footage of every single room, and there has been one YouTuber who I've gotten a lot of this information from, as in like the videos that he's done have been really helpful for me in understanding exactly what happened that night and exactly what happened in the days before she actually ever showed up to the hotel. I will put his link down below as well. I have seen the footage, and I'm telling you, I have spent weeks and weeks going through this footage, and it has been, for the most part, boring. But know that her friends are actually searching for her in the footage. They are on footage, as in they are being filmed while Kenneka is also being filmed the entire night. Their whereabouts are accounted for. I'm gonna put some of it there because I don't know if you guys will believe me just by me saying it, but yeah, her friends are on camera. Their whereabouts are accounted for. They are actively searching for her, and there is footage of that, and I'll put the actual full-length footage and videos down there, and all of that is also available to you if you want to go through footage. But I did that work for you, so I mean, if you really want to, it's down there. And as I'm sure we remember from last week, and hopefully you have watched last week's video, otherwise this probably doesn't make any sense to you. But remember last week when the girls are on footage, they did check almost every single place that Kenneka went, but because Kenneka was there before them, they missed her. There is at one point, or a couple of points, when they go up to the counter and they're harassing the people to help them find their friend. You can see, I think it's Monifa, who goes over to the couch section. Everyone kind of sits down in the lobby, kind of regrouping. They've gone around the whole hotel, they've searched, and you can see, I do think it is Monifa, who her head is in her hands and she is distressed. She's distressed because she can't find her drunk friend. So, I mean, yeah, their whereabouts are accounted for. Can we also remember that her friends constantly badgered the security desk as well as the concierge desk, saying, help us look for our friends, to the point where they got kicked out of the hotel? If you murdered someone, if you organized their rape, why would you try to be telling people about it? Why would you be making a huge fuss to the point where you get kicked out of that hotel? You wouldn't want anyone to know about it. You wouldn't want anyone to find possibly your friend being murdered, you know, before it could happen, if you are the mastermind murderer. Oh, and I will also say, the man who, the YouTuber that I did get a lot of this footage from, a lot of people, because they did not accept that the friends didn't do it and weren't involved, they actually said that this YouTuber was part of a whole conspiracy and that he was working for like the hotel. So that just goes to show you how strong people believe in this particular theory. It's one of the main theories that the friends did it. I am a 25-year-old YouTuber. I've only been on YouTube for 3 months. I don't work for a hotel that is like where, like, I live in Australia, so please don't think that I'm part of a conspiracy just because I don't believe in your theories. And then the last piece of evidence, I guess, that people have, or I guess the second last, I will mention there is one video of the girl who works for the security in the hotel, who was also with a couple of other friends, I think also including Monifa and Irene, where they go to Kenneka's resting place at the cemetery, and they are angry because Kenneka didn't have a headstone at that point, and then they're placing a lot of blame on her mother, saying like, why does she have all this new stuff, what, they can't afford a headstone? Headstones are very, very expensive. We also don't know what the family has planned in terms of testing and things like that, and I don't know when those girls uploaded that live, but it is pretty obvious that the friends and the family have clashed and no one trusts anyone. The family obviously isn't trusting the friends aren't trusting the family, everyone is playing into the conspiracy against each other, and I don't think either parties are to blame in this. So that is another part of it. I think that is just drama, really. I don't think it has any basis for a theory. The last piece of evidence that people seem to have against the friends is that it took a little bit for the police to round up all of the friends, and it took a little bit for the police to get all of the information from all of the friends, and everyone's like, well, that's shady, sir. I know it seems a little bit suspicious. However, the reason that it was a little bit difficult for the police to round up all the friends and grab all the information is because the friends paid for the freaking hotel room with a fraudulent card, and that is, oh, also there were drugs. So that might be a huge reason as to why it was so difficult for the police to round up all the friends. They did get all the information that they needed. It just took a little bit of time to round up all of the people and all of the parties involved, because there were illegal things happening in the room, and the room was paid for with a fraudulent or stolen credit card. Okie doke. The next one is playing into the whole satanic thing, except it is not specifically against her mother. However, it is a satanic theory that involves her friends as well as 2 other hotels, but including the Crowne Plaza, so 3. As a ring of 3, and it involves a lot of numbers as well. So I guess you could say that it ties in the last couple of theories in, like, ties it up into a little bow and also contradicts them. I don't know, but this theory is that it was a spiritual gang rape murder initiation, gang initiation. I am so sad that it has taken me so long to get through all of the theories and all of my notes here. So this will be the last theory, and there's gonna be, I know, there's gonna be another theory video that has more of the believable theories in there. But this next theory will be the ending one, and then there'll be more believable theories in the next video. But let's get to this theory, because this one is interesting, but also a little bit loopy. But it seems to be popular, and I don't know why. So there are a lot of videos out here on YouTube who are saying that that particular night was a gang initiation night between a particular gang that is very into rituals and things like that. So look, there's a lot of videos, but from one video, the YouTuber says that because Irene, remember in her little bedroom interview, when she's explaining the night, she says, yo, Kenneka, you're done. As in, Kenneka was very drunk and she needed to go home. That YouTuber said that because Irene said, you're done, instead of saying, you're drunk, that means that the initiation was done. Another YouTuber said that because there was 36 hours of footage, that means that there is 3 6s, and that is a satanic number. And that is like another reason as to why they think it was gang initiation night, but like a satanic gang. Another thing is that they say because people are calling it a gathering rather than a party, that gathering is it's a ritualistic terminology. I think we already know from my second video on this case that I explained it was a gathering, more a gatho, because that is the Australian terminology that we use for something that isn't as huge as a party, but something that is more low-key. And that is what that night was. It was a gatho. It was a gathering, because it wasn't like this crazy, we're doing coke kind of, you know, pills party where the music was super loud. It was literally just a gathering of friends who were smoking weed. From all the Snapchats that I saw, they were just smoking weed. Someone had connected or Kenneka's phone was connected to the Bluetooth speaker. People were on their Facebooks. They were filming themselves. They were doing Snapchat stuff. It was just a gathering for Irene's birthday. But because people are saying it was a gathering rather than a party, these YouTubers are saying that gathering is a ritualistic terminology, and that this is even more proof that it was a like spiritual gang initiation thing. Another YouTuber said that she thinks that it is a gang ritual thing because she thinks there are 3 hotels involved, and this is like a really long video that she has. I'll link it down below. She said because the hotels that she believes are involved in this conspiracy have the number 6 in them, that's more evidence that it's satanic, because that's a satanic number. She said that like to do with all the addresses and things like that, she said that 369 is also a satanic number. She said that because the room number was 926, that has 2 of the numbers of that satanic number, and so it must mean that it is a satanic thing. I'm not sure where she thinks that the 2 in the hotel room number goes, but apparently because it's got a 9 and a 6 in it, that automatically means that it is satanic, I guess. Again, we have that parking ticket that comes up where it was a parking ticket from the 6th, which was 3 days before. So I guess in their car, they had a parking ticket, which we spoke about at the start of this video. And because it was from the 6th, she's saying that that is more evidence that it is a satanic thing because it had the number 6 in the date. She said that she believes that Kenneka didn't actually start her night at the Crowne Plaza. She said that she believes that Kenneka went to 2 other hotels, which is part of the 3 hotels that this YouTuber claims is part of the satanic ritual. So she believes that Kenneka went to 2 of the other hotels before ending up at the Crowne Plaza for her like final initiation into the gang.
But I believe one hotel, which I believe is the DoubleTree, was a meetup spot for criminal acts such as rape, rituals, sacrifices. Is anybody following me?
This same YouTuber brings up in her video a picture of 2 boys who were there from that night. And it is just a picture of them, like, it's like, you know, like when guys take pictures together, they're like trying to act cool and stuff like that. But anyway, the caption of one of these boys' photos was, "I'm Jesus and you're Lucifer, we're going out on the town," or something like that. Well, what did he actually say? Yeah, so basically the caption that this young boy had put on his photo trying to be cool was that, like, "I'm Jesus and you're Lucifer," something like that. And so she brings up this young boy's photo from the party that night, and she's like, this is even more proof, you know, they're like satanic, and this is proof because he put this in the caption. To me, it just sounds like this young boy is using that as a metaphor and trying to be like super cool. There is a picture that this YouTuber brings up from that night, and it's actually someone's Snapchat. It is a still shot, and it is where Kenneka is standing at the door. She's literally just standing at the door, and there is like someone who like puts their hand over their mouth, and this YouTuber is saying that because they put their hand over their mouth, it literally just looks like he's yawning, by the way. This YouTuber is saying that because he put his hand over his mouth, that this is a code. She refers to this code as being the code of silence. She also says that in this Snapchat, it looks like Kenneka is getting snatched. Literally, no one is touching her. Kenneka is walking out the door of her own accord. This brings us in to a part of this theory that doesn't even involve someone who was even at the hotel. So Manifa supposedly has a best friend, or at least had a best friend, called Elliot, who is a gay man. I don't know, would you call him a man? He's just a young boy, but whatever. He is a gay young person. They're all young people. But anyway, he wasn't even at the party, or at least he was very late. Supposedly, according to this YouTuber, he has something to do with it, because there's another person called Zach who was supposedly going to tell the world everything, or like spill the tea on that night. And then we see Elliot, who is this gay young boy who did move away. He moved to Germany. So Elliot moved to Germany after all of this went down, but Zach was supposedly going to spill the tea on the situation. And Elliot Snapchatted Zach, and these two boys must have had some sort of thing where Zach isn't out of the closet, or maybe, you know, he is embarrassed about being with Elliot. And Elliot says to Zach, if you do, I'm going to show people pictures of us doing something. So I don't exactly know what Zach was trying to spill the tea on, but either way, Elliot stopped him. And so this, I don't know, because it literally came from a YouTuber who believes that because there were two numbers in the hotel room, like, number, that this whole thing is satanic. You know, I'm literally just taking this YouTuber's word and passing it on to you. Do I believe that this is a plausible theory, or that this actually happened? Not really, until I'm given plausible proof. This same YouTuber that said this, like, I don't know, like, pointless story about an Elliot who wasn't even at the party, and a Zach who I don't even know if he was at the party. This same YouTuber said that there was another person who was at the party, and he went on his live video, and someone was like, did you kill her? And he was like, I didn't kill her. We lifted her soul. And I don't even know if this happened. I'm literally just saying things that other YouTubers have said. I don't even believe that this live video happened, because who in their right mind, knowing that there are all these conspiracies out there that you killed someone and that you, like, are this satanic person when you're literally just like a young boy, why would you admit to that? I don't think the things that these YouTubers are saying are real. I think they're literally just trying to get views, because this case brings a lot of attention, as I know from all of the harassment that I've been getting online, not even just on YouTube. Like, there have been so many fake accounts on my phone who are telling me that I look fat, or that I look too skinny, and to stay away from this case, and that I'm wrong, and that all this kind of stuff. So this case does bring a lot of attention, and I genuinely believe that this particular YouTuber who is making up all these stories about people who weren't even at the party are just trying to get views. And I'm sorry that I said that. No, I'm not sorry. Literally just trying to get views, and they're not doing Kenneka any sort of justice. But anyway, this YouTuber thinks that Kenneka was killed at a completely different hotel, one of the other hotels, and that she was transported to the Crown Plaza and left in one of their elevators. And I can debunk that straight away. Where is the footage? Because how are you going to get a dead body in through the lobby, past all the people in there? And bearing in mind, this hotel is a 24-hour hotel, because it is one of those airport hotels where everything has to be open, because people check in and out of this hotel all throughout the night, because there are flights coming in and out 24/7. So how are you going to get a dead body in through a 24-hour hotel and then leave it in one of the elevators? Now, the last YouTuber that I'm going to talk about in this satanic theory thingo is I think this guy needs some actual help. I mean, he doesn't seem to be hurting anyone, but he's got a lot of videos out there that, I don't know, he just seems like he needs a little bit of help. But he said that because Kenneka has two tattoos, one of them is of a butterfly, and the other one is of the Eastern Star. And he says that these two tattoos mean that her family were part of an elite Chicago Illuminati family. He said that she was sacrificed at the Crown Plaza because the Crown Plaza in their logo have a symbol that supposedly, according to this YouTuber, stands for 666. I do not see it. Show me. because he didn't show me in his video. He just said it. And I'm like, bro.
She was groomed for this. Kenneka Jenkins, if you look at this child, she has, as soon as I say this, you're all just going to be like, okay, here we go. She has a butterfly tattoo on her stomach. She also has Eastern Star tattoos on her back. And so, yes, she comes from a Masonry and Eastern Star family, and which is very well connected into the Chicago elite scene. And so you know where this is going already. Her stepdad, who has been staying out of the limelight, not her stepdad, but the man who her mom is seeing, her boyfriend, kind of acts more like her handler. And he's just a real creepy looking dude. And you ask all these kids and you watch their videos and they all talk about how creepy he is. And you can tell by looking at him, he's ranked somewhere along the Masons out there. Everybody is. Right beside the words is a symbol. And the symbol is 666. It's the Hebrew letter for 6 upside down. And I was looking at it, I'm like, that's 666.
I don't see the 666 symbol. You're telling me. You need to show me. If you have a theory, you have the burden of proof. You know what I'm saying? You can't just say them, you have to prove it. Yeah, this guy, I think he kind of needs a little bit of help just from looking at his website and all of his stuff. But I mean, he doesn't seem like he's hurting anyone. He just sounds like he hasn't left his house in a little bit. So let me just, if I haven't already debunked that last theory enough, I will debunk it even more, because that female YouTuber who said the whole thing about there being 3 different hotels and that thing about Elliot, who wasn't even at the party that night, she said that Elliot's role for the night was to provide laced drugs to Kenneka. Now we all know because we have the autopsy results. Kenneka didn't take drugs that night. She didn't have any drugs in her system. She was drunk, yes, and you can see that on the footage. So there were no laced drugs in her system. There weren't even drugs in her system. She had like headache and epilepsy medication, but it wasn't even an overdose of that because she had the normal range within her system. No alcohol or the epilepsy medication, none of that even led to her death in the first place. And then in terms of her theory that Kenneka was transported dead to the Crowne Plaza, we already have footage from that night. We can see Kenneka alive walking into the freezer. So we don't really need to entertain the theory that she was killed elsewhere and carried into the freezer or left in the elevator, because we can see her alive and walking within the Crowne Plaza to the freezer. The only thing we can't see is the view from on top of the freezer door. Alrighty, so you guys, this video I guess is long. So we are going to be doing a part 2 of theories, and that will be next week. I kind of thought that we would get it all out in the one video, but this is already super long and I've got a lot more theories, and that I guess will just show you how big this case is and how detailed these theories are, and they do need to be debunked, because I think if you just laugh them off and you don't actually debunk them, then you're not proving them wrong and you're kind of letting these people continue with their theories. Thank you so much for watching. Next week's theories that we are going to be either debunking or proposing are, and I will have to read them off because there are so freaking many. We're going to be talking about whether or not it's plausible for her to be raped and murdered. We're going to be talking about whether or not it was a police cover-up, and we're also going to be talking about whether or not it could have been a hotel cover-up, because the hotel and the police are separate entities, but there are theories that the police did it, or at least covered it up, and then there are theories that the hotel covered it up. So we're going to be talking about that as well. And then we're also going to be talking about whether or not organ trafficking has anything to do with this case. And then I'm going to be telling you what I think my theory is, and I really hope you stick around for part 2 of the Kenneka Jenkins theories and debunking, because there is a lot. If you think that I haven't quite debunked those last theories, and if you are one of those people who genuinely do believe that it was a satanic gang initiation, or you think that the mother sacrificed her daughter, or if you think that, you know, if you believe in the theories that I have just told you, I'm really sorry, but I'm pretty sure I debunked that. If you do have any other theory that I might look into before next week, let me know in the comments below. I will leave these comments open. Please don't make me regret it, because the second you talk about how I look, or the second you say, you know, talk to me condescendingly or are just rude, I will disable the comments quicker than you can say, what the heck, bro? So don't do it. Be respectful. Or I will take away your rights like you're my children when you shouldn't be my children. And also, listen, this is just YouTube. I am not paid for this. Please stop making fake accounts and going onto my Instagram. My Instagram is like a completely different platform. That is for like fashion, and like my work is on Instagram, and like collabs are on Instagram, and it kind of looks really bad. So please don't do that. Please, like, use your logic. Know that I am not coming for you, so please don't come for me just because we don't agree on a conspiracy on one single case on YouTube. But with that being said, I really hope you enjoy these videos and how much effort I put into them. I've spent, like, I would say probably 2 months researching this case. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stick around for next week's video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up because it really does help. And if you want to be a nice guy, and give me a subscribe, because look, I am so close to 1K. I've only been on YouTube for 3 months. And so I don't know, I think I'm kind of proud of that. I do hauls, story times, I try things, I do challenges on Wednesdays, but then every single Sunday I do a true crime Sunday. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.